Hello, I'm Clark Crawford, and welcome back to the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. Talking Astros baseball, of course, here on my YouTube channel as well. They're on quite a run right now in the regular season, as if you remember early in the season, they were off to a horrendous start. But we're going to talk about that, plus your Astros versus Red Sox series recap. Let's see how it went. If you didn't hear over the weekend, I'm here to catch you up on that, along with your Astros versus Rays series preview, which starts tonight here coming up in a couple of hours. And then I'll also give you, as promised, a Justin Verlander update because, well, Justin Verlander had a rehab start over the weekend, and we'll talk about it and let you know how that went and everything along with that. And that's really the only injury update I have for today. Other guys are still trying to recover, a lot of things going on, but hey, that's what we have. So let's jump right into the Astros versus Red Sox series recap. Now, if you heard, the Astros swept the Red Sox over the weekend. A little spoiler alert, but not really. You probably already heard, but let's talk about it. So the Astros take game one of the series against Boston, 8-4 behind Ronel Blanco and the bullpen. As well, they win 8-4. We're going to talk about Ronel Blanco first. He went 4 innings. He goes 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Throwing 88 pitches this season. ERA is now 3.02. Blanco was just okay yet again. The 5 strikeouts are encouraging. You know, his strikeout numbers aren't dipping, way under 2 or 3 a game, but only 4 innings is the discouraging part, and 88 pitches through 4 innings. That's back-to-back starts now. He got through 5 in his last start with 89 pitches, now 4 innings in this start. So Ronel Blanco, as I've talked about for weeks now, he might have some dead arm, and, well, it's unfortunate for the Astros. Then the bullpen picked him up, though. Brian King, Caleb Bort, Caleb Ferguson, Taylor Scott, and Brian Abreu throwing, not giving up runs out of the bullpen, some of them going full innings, others only getting an out or 2. And then Ryan Presley goes an inning, gives up a run, 2 walks. But I'm going to defend Ryan Presley in this game as he pitched the 9th inning. It was raining pretty heavily, and multiple times Ryan Presley slipped on the mound. So I'm not too worried about it in this one. Normally, I would probably knock Ryan Presley and say, demote him. But let's give him a breather on this one. He was slipping on the mound through a ton of pitches, though he got the Astros through it in the 8-4 victory. From the offensive side of things, Yordan Alvarez got it started with a RBI in the first inning on a double play. And then the Astros, who were down 3-1 at one point in this game, in the 7th inning, got the party going. Jose Altuve's 2-run home run. John Singleton knocked in Bregman. Jeremy Pena knocked in Yordan Alvarez. So the Astros take a 5-3 lead. And then in the 9th inning, Yordan Alvarez hits an RBI double to score Bregman. And then Yainer Diaz hits a monster 448-foot 2-run homer to give the Astros at the time an 8-3 lead, as they would go on to win the game 8-4. That was Altuve's 15th homer of the year and Yainer Diaz's 11th. Altuve has 2 RBIs in this one. Bregman goes 3 for 4. Alvarez 2 for 4. Diaz 2 hits. Singleton 2 hits. And Jeremy Pena added 3 hits of his own and an RBI. And Jake Myers, who's been a massive disappointment since June 1st, has 2 hits in this one as well. The Astros take game 1 of the series, 8-4. That brings us to game 2 of the series, which was Saturday night. Spencer Arrighetti takes home the win. And, well, he bested his best outing of the season so far. He picks up his 5th win of the year. He's now 5-10, 7 innings, 2 hits, both of them solo home runs, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts. He has the Astros' top 2 strikeout games from starting pitchers this year, with 13 and 12 in his previous 2 starts. What an outing from Spencer Arrighetti. Brian Abreu struggles out of the bullpen in this one, gives up 2 runs in the 8th inning to make it 5-4. And then Josh Hader shuts the door in the 9th inning after a leadoff double, and the Astros win 5-4. Josh Hader breaks the Astros' all-time saves record of consecutive saves with 25 saves in a row. He blew his first save of the season against the Toronto Blue Jays way back in April, the first full week of the season, and then Josh Hader's converted 25 consecutive saves since then. The Astros scoring in this game, as I mentioned, they won 5-4. Yordan Alvarez hit a solo home run in the first inning. And then in the sixth inning, Yordan Alvarez hits a 2-run homer. And then Alex Bregman hits a Breggy bomb to make it 4-1 in the seventh inning. And then Zach DeZenzo, which ended up being a key home run and a key moment in this game. We didn't know it until the bottom of the eighth inning, but DeZenzo hits a 437-foot moonshot over the Green Monster for his first career home run. Hats off to the rookie getting the first one out of the way. Now we just need sometime soon Pedro Leon to get his first out of the way. And then every Astro, except for Cesar Salazar, who was put on a uniform this year, has homered for them if, they've had more than just a couple at bats. So some exciting news there. And this one, Alex Bregman's 16th homer of the year, DeZenzo his first, and Alvarez hit his 23rd and 24th on Saturday as the Astros secured the 5-4 victory. And then Sunday was, well, as you might call it, a little bit of a beatdown. The Astros smashed the Red Sox 10-2. It got so bad for the Red Sox, they pitched position player Dom Smith, who was their first baseman to begin the game in the ninth inning. He goes a scoreless inning, giving up one hit and a walk. And sadly for the Red Sox on their side of things, he was their best pitcher of the day. Also need to mention James Paxton, the Red Sox starter, left in the first inning after 2/3 of an inning, giving up 2 hits with an injury. Don't know the extent of that yet, but it did not look pretty. And honestly, it wouldn't be surprising to me if Paxton was out for the season. That looked pretty ugly there. So the Astros got the scoring started in the third inning off of a wild pitch. Mauricio Dubon scored a run. Alex Bregman with a 3-run shot after he probably should have struck out on the previous pitch makes it a 4-0 Astros lead at the time. Yordan Alvarez follows in the fifth inning with a solo homer of his own. Jake Myers had an RBI single as well in the fifth to make it 6-0. Yainer Diaz doubles 2/3 of the way up the Green Monster to make it 8-0. And then Jeremy Pena makes it 10-0 in the sixth inning with the 2-run home run of his own. And that was a wrap. The Red Sox scored 2 in the sixth off of Hunter Brown, who went 5 1/3, picks up his 10th win of the year. 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Hunter Brown, as I mentioned, he is now 10-7 on the year, and his ERA is 3.96. It is below 4. I'm sure that was a season goal for him to get his ERA back below 4. And, well, he's achieved that, and hopefully he can keep trucking along. He misses out on a quality start on this one, but 95 pitches, and the Astros also have Thursday off of this next week, and potentially Verlander could be slotting into a 6-man rotation. So maybe Hunter Brown just needs an extra day or two of rest in between the start, and he'll get back full guns a-blazing and get back to that quality start streak. But still a good outing, positive signs from Hunter Brown, hopefully not slowing down on the season. And he still pitched well, just couldn't quite get out of the sixth inning. Caleb Ferguson, Brian King, and Sean Dubin complete the final 3 2/3 innings of the game of scoreless baseball. And as I mentioned, the Astros win 10-2. It was a 13-hit outing for the ball club. They smacked the ball all around the yard. Jose Altuve, 3 for 4. Alex Bregman, 2 for 3 with the big 3-run homer. Yordan Alvarez, 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. Of course, the home run. 3 for 5 for Jeremy Pena. Season average up to 273. And that was about it from the offensive side. Of course, Jeremy Pena, 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs as well. So the Astros take care of business against the Boston Red Sox. And that moves us directly into the Astros versus Rays series preview, which is going to start with a look back at the Astros versus Rays previous series, which was August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at Minute Maid Park. And, well, the Astros did not take care of business in that series. They won the first game 3-2, barely had any offense going, but were able to sneak out a victory, and they were hoping with that victory they could win at least one more in the previous series. Unfortunately, they did not do so. Game 2 of the series was that Saturday. The Rays won 6-1. The Astros' only offense was a John Singleton solo home run. And then, of course, what I'm still going to argue the worst loss of the year, you lost 1-0 to Tampa Bay in the series finale on that Sunday about a week and a half ago. The Astros just did not show up in this one. Had a total of 3 hits, a couple opportunities to win the game, spoiling Spencer Arrighetti's second best outing of his career, in my opinion. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, and 12 strikeouts was Arrighetti's performance. I mean, they had no signs of life. Jordan Alvarez had gone 2 for 3 in that game. Diaz had the other hit, 1 for 4, but that was it. I mean, the bullpen was good. Brian King, no runs, and Sean Dubin, 2 innings, no runs. But the Astros, like I said, showed no signs of life offensively, and they lost just a heartbreaker, 1-0. I mean, that game was ugly from the start. Just, the offense was dead, and unfortunately, the Astros could not get that one done. But that takes us to the current series against the Rays, which begins tonight. So the Astros are going to have to take at least 2 out of 3 in this series, the 3-game series against the Rays, to at least tie the season series. They would have to win all 3 games to win the season series 4-2. We'll see if that happens. But the Rays are a scrappy team with Kevin Cash as their manager, and they're not going to go down quietly the rest of the regular season, even though they sold 7 or 8 pieces off of their team at the trade deadline. That brings us to the series preview. Astros riding a 5-game win streak in this one against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Astros 62-55, first place in the AL West. Tampa Bay Rays, as I mentioned, they're a scrappy team. They showed that in Houston. They are 59-58, fourth in the AL East. Framber Valdez, southpaw for the Astros, takes the ball on Monday in tonight's matchup. 11-5, a 3.46 ERA, 125 innings pitched, 108 hits, 113 strikeouts on the season. His mound opponent, Taj Bradley, 6-6, a 3.07 ERA, a 109 WHIP, 91 innings pitched, 68 hits, 106 strikeouts. Todd Bradley is a really good pitcher. Do not take him lightly. Like I said, the Rays are a scrappy team, and they're going to hang in there. I don't expect the Astros to necessarily run away with any of these games, though it is possible. I expect it to be a highly competitive series. And that'll take us to the game logs of the 2 pitchers for tonight's matchup. And Framber Valdez. Now, you remember last week, his start against the Texas Rangers, 8 2/3, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 107 pitches. He was 1 out away from no-hitter. And unfortunately, Corey Seager, the 1 hit he gave up was a 2-run homer, raising his ERA a little bit. But he still is 11-5, picking up the victory, a 3.46 ERA on the season. Framber has been phenomenal, mostly as of late, and hopefully he can continue that and pick up his 12th win of the year for the Astros' sake tonight. He had everything going. He did have 3 walks, but other than that, the 1 hit, I mean, not too many base runners, mowing the Rangers down for the most part in his last start. Hell, maybe he finally throws a no-hitter this season tonight against the Rays. I think it's unlikely, but it's certainly possible. Now, Taj Bradley battled the pitchers who did not pitch in the last series again between the 2 teams. Framber did not pitch against the Rays, and Taj Bradley did not pitch against the Astros. In his last start, Taj Bradley, 4 2/3, 9 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts against the St. Louis Cardinals in a Tampa Bay Rays 5-2 loss. Todd Bradley was not very good in this one. He's 6-6 on the year, but don't be fooled. He's a really good pitcher. I would have loved to see the Astros trade for him at the deadline. Unfortunately, the cost was probably even higher than Kikuchi, considering he is a younger pitcher. I think he's a little bit better, but nonetheless, Taj Bradley, a good pitcher. We'll see what happens in tonight's matchup. I think runs are going to be at a premium if both pitchers are spot on, which they very well likely could be. It could be the lowest scoring outing of the 3-game series. We'll have to find out. I know I'll be locked right in to all 3 games, and we'll see who comes out on top in this 3-game series, the last 3 games between these 2 teams in 2024. Yusei Kikuchi takes the mound in Game 2. Left-handed pitcher, 5-9, a 4.62 ERA, 133 WHIP, 126 2/3 innings pitched, 132 hits, and 149 strikeouts. Shane Baz, his mound opponent, 0-1 with a 4.30 ERA, a 147 WHIP, 29 1/3 innings pitched, 31 hits, and 26 strikeouts on the year. An interesting pitching matchup. Astros recent trade acquisition, Kikuchi, versus the younger pitcher, Shane Baz. So the veteran aspect, let's see if Kikuchi can teach the young buck a lesson. Here's Kikuchi's 2 starts with the Astros that I went over in my previous video. Yusei Kikuchi, went 5 2/3 in the first game, 2 earned runs, 11 strikeouts. And then in his last game against the Rangers, picks up the win, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. So 19 strikeouts in his first 2 outings as an Astro, picking up his 5th win of the year, improving his record to 5-9. But here with the Astros, here's the key: a 3.27 ERA, even though he has a 4.62 season ERA. So he's definitely pitched better as an Astro. You just need him. The biggest thing is to get deeper into games. I would take 6 innings of 2-run ball from pretty much any pitcher any day of the week. So let's see if Kikuchi can achieve that in his 3rd start as a Houston Astro coming up on Tuesday night. That brings us to Shane Baz's game logs. As you can see, he pitched against the Astros in their last matchup a week and a half ago. The Astros won that game, the only game they won that series, 3-2. Shane Baz got a no decision in this game, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, throwing 80 pitches. His ERA in the month of August is 5.59. So let's see if the Astros can raise that and have a better outing against Shane Baz, as he pitched pretty well in this one in the last outing against the Astros. And then his outing since then on this past Thursday, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, picking up another no decision against the St. Louis Cardinals in a game the Tampa Bay Rays won. Shane Baz is a solid young pitcher. He's got a good fastball. Let's see if the Astros can muster up, their bats and get the swing going, maybe tattoo a couple over the fence for some home runs in this one. Game 3 of the series will feature Ronel Blanco against Zach Littell, the Rays right-handed pitcher. Ronel Blanco, 9-6, a 3.02 ERA, 105 WHIP, 128 innings pitched even, 83 hits, 126 strikeouts. Zach Littell, 5-8, 4.11 ERA, 135 WHIP, 124 2/3 innings pitched, 144 hits given up, and 113 strikeouts. Some of the offensive leaders for both teams: Yordan Alvarez is taking over the team lead in home runs, batting average, and RBIs, 307 average, 395 on base, 25 homers, and 63 RBIs. My big thing for Yordan is he's a big guy, big hitter. I know he's been good since about June 1st, but in March/April, he wasn't very good on the year, and he wasn't good in the month of May as well. But since June, he's been on fire for the most part. Let's see if Yordan Alvarez, my totals, I'm hoping he could get up to around 35 homers and definitely drive in over 100 runs on the year, and I'll call it a successful year for Alvarez. I mean, his numbers are good, but Yordan Alvarez is a power hitter, guy you're expecting to lead the team in RBIs. So I just want him to get that RBI total and a few more home runs up before the end of the season. That I would just say that's my only knock. He started the season so slow, just as many Astros did. They're slowly, ever so slowly, starting to tick those numbers up right where you'd expect them to be, but they still got some work to do in those aspects. Jose Siri leads the Tampa Bay Rays in homers, as he was really good in the series in Houston, tracking down numerous fly balls, having a couple of spectacular catches. He leads them in home runs. Let's see if the revenge of Jose Siri, this time in Tampa Bay, comes back to bite the Astros. 14 homers, a 201 average, and 38 RBIs. Yandy Diaz, one of the leftover guys who was not traded, one of their better players, maybe even their best player at this point, 271 and 328 on base percentage, 10 homers and 51 RBIs. So I know the Astros were in on him at the trade deadline, but were not able to work out a deal as price was expected to be high. We're not going to know exactly how high or what the Rays asked for, but I would expect they asked for a ton in return because the Astros were not able to get a deal done, as many people still criticize the Astros for what they gave up for Yusei Kikuchi, but that's water under the bridge at this point. I'm rooting for Kikuchi, and you should be as well. We'll evaluate that trade in a few years and see how it's gone in a few years coming up, maybe after the 2025, 26, 27 season, see how those Astros prospects are doing. That takes us to Ronel Blanco's game logs. 5 innings and 4 innings in his last 2 starts, throwing 89 and 88 pitches. And, well, he's only given up 2 runs in both games, which is positive in the potential series finale in this, maybe the rubber match, but he just isn't getting deep into games, not walking too many hitters, 2-3 in his last two starts. But Ronald Blanco, he's got to get deeper into the games. It just seems like he might have dead arm. I know I've mentioned it a ton lately, but Ronald Blanco, you're going to have to figure it out. The Astros need you, and hopefully he can get back on track against the Tampa Bay Rays, as he went up against the Rays, lost 6-1, dropping his sixth game of the year a week and a half ago. So that brings us to Zach Littell. And Zach Littell pitched against Ronald Blanco in that game. The Rays won 6-1, and he, for the most part, dominated the Astros. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. Was a solo homer to John Singleton, 3 strikeouts. Only throwing 79 pitches was the only surprising thing. I just thought he might get a little deeper into the game. And then he lost his last start, 5 innings to Baltimore in a 4-1 loss, 8 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, with a home run given up and 5 strikeouts. Zach Littell is another good pitcher the Rays have in their pitching staff. His numbers don't tell the full story. So, like I've said earlier in the video, the Rays are a scrappy team. You just have to scratch and claw and fight your way to a victory, because the Rays are going to keep coming at you and coming at you. You just don't know what they're going to bring every single day. But I just know they're not going to go down quietly as their record earlier. They're still above 500 coming into this series, so that tells you everything you need to know. Kevin Cash is a pretty good manager down there, and even though they sold off part of their team, I expect them to be right back in the wild card race next season, because some of these prospects they traded for are going to come up and come at you out of nowhere. And Tampa Bay, next thing you know, they're going to find another stud or 2 or 3 in their system next year. And some of these guys you haven't heard of, they just come and smack you in the face and say, hey, we're here. And that's what Tampa Bay's done for about 15 to 20 years now. They have a down year, and then they're right back in kind of contention. They made a couple World Series over the last 20 years, and, well, that's just how they do. They're a quiet team. They don't make the big blockbuster moves most of the time, but will acquire the blockbuster players. They've traded a few away, but they just keep coming at you, and they never give up. They're a solid team, and watch out for the Tampa Bay Rays. So hopefully the Astros, who are riding a 5-game win streak, they could potentially make it 8 if they take care of the Rays this week. I'm expecting at least 2 out of 3 in the Tampa Bay Rays series. And then, of course, you have Thursday off this week, and then you got the White Sox coming up. So you really need to sweep the White Sox at home, because the schedule, which I'll go over in the next video against the White Sox series preview and the Rays series recap, it gets a lot tougher to in the month of August and into early September, as you have the Philadelphia Phillies, a little spoiler alert, and the Baltimore Orioles coming up as well. So it does not get easy. 2 of the best teams in baseball, arguably the top 2 teams in baseball, depending on who you ask, but they're definitely 2 of the top 4, if not 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. Last thing I want to share, a little update on Justin Verlander before I go in this latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. Justin Verlander had a rehab start for AAA Sugarland Space Cowboys on Saturday night. Justin Verlander's final line in that rehab start, where he got his fastball up to 95 miles an hour, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. So a positive sign, throwing 52 pitches, and 36 of them were for strikes. So what's next for Justin Verlander? Nothing has been announced. I'm going to give a little potential preview of what could happen. I have no bounds or, any inside information, unfortunately, on this, but what I would do with Justin Verlander, and I'm going to make a little prediction. The Astros, as I mentioned, played the Chicago White Sox over the weekend, this upcoming weekend at Minute Maid Park. Instead of sending Verlander out onto the road, I believe AAA Sugarland goes to Tacoma, and then Corpus Christi, I believe, goes somewhere in Arkansas to play their next matchup. So what's the harm? And this is my prediction. It's probably going to be wrong, but I'm just going to put it on the record. What's the harm in bringing Justin Verlander back against the Chicago White Sox, who are essentially a AA/AAA team? I know they have a few major league ready players, but for the most part, the White Sox are one of the worst teams ever in history. So why not bring Verlander back for essentially a rehab start against the White Sox and just let him pitch in the major leagues one extra time? As you know, Justin Verlander wants to get to 300 wins in his career. Give him one extra chance this season to do that and pick up his potentially 261st win in his major league career. He currently sits at 260. So just my little insight on maybe they bring Justin Verlander back earlier than expected. Probably not going to happen. I assume they're just going to send him with AAA Sugarland again out on the road sometime next weekend, maybe another Friday or Saturday start. He'll probably throw a bullpen, I would think, about Wednesday. And if all goes well, he'll make his next rehab start. And we pray all goes well because we've all been hoping to get guys back, and hope is not an answer. It's just a expectation. Going to do it for the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports here on YouTube. Like my videos down below, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on the current team. The Astros are on a current 5-game win streak. Let's hope it continues for a few more games, or maybe even the rest of the week if they sweep Tampa Bay and the Chicago White Sox to maybe make it 11. I know that's tough to do, but I think it is possible. And then, of course, subscribe to my channel as I move closer to 200 subscribers. That would be a huge number for me, as I've almost had my channel a year now. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting the channel. I'll see all of you in the next video on Friday in an Astros versus White Sox series preview and your Astros versus Rays series recap.